guys.
Hey.
Welcome. I am Natalie Diaz, and this is Shari Criso, and we are double live streaming, so we are over on the Twiniversity page, and we're on your page too,
We're
right?
on my page too. Hi, everybody. Hi, guys. World Breastfeeding Week and National Breast Month continues for all of us, and
Yes.
super excited to be here with Natalie.
Yay! So excited!
We've been friends and neighbors this whole summer. She moved into my town for the summer,
did.
into this beautiful house here.
I was here in this town before you, though, technically, just not full time.
You technically were.
So
Here
whose
before
town
me.
is it? I'm just saying. No, it's really
I'll
your
give
town.
it to you.
All
I'll give
right.
it to you.
See, I give it right back because that's the kind of girls we are. So today we are talking about breastfeeding. So in honor of it's Breastfeeding Month.
It's National
Technically.
Breastfeeding Week and it's World Breastfeeding Month.
So we're just giving it a week, and then we're like, nobody really cares, but there's still people talking
World
about
Breastfeeding
it.
Week, National Breastfeeding Month. Sorry,
Okay.
I got it wrong. World Breastfeeding Week, National Breastfeeding Month. I celebrate the whole month because breastfeeding is a holiday
You
for me.
celebrate the whole year.
I actually celebrate the whole year. So
Yes.
this is like Christmas for me.
Yes, it's Christmas.
Christmas in the breastfeeding world. Let's put it that way.
So we
And
have
Christmas for you because all the prizes, right?
We love prizes.
Lots
Oh
of
my
prizes.
gosh! We had that Facebook chat yesterday.
Yeah.
That was insanity.
Did you guys have a good time?
We did have a very good time, and we have a lot of prizes to give away, including pumps and a lot of other stuff. So Julie is online with us now. She is the wizard behind the curtain. So she will be shooting questions to us as well. Hi, Evenflo's on with us.
Hi.
Boo-da-boo-boo. So
Hey,
yes.
look, we're wearing Evenflo colors,
Who
and we
knew?
didn't even plan that.
We
but
didn't.
We are.
I was deciding on how
matchy.
cold I would be because I had to turn the AC down. So I was like, let me get a sweater.
That's really funny because I was deciding on how hot I would be.
So we were just going to go with bikini tops, and I was going to wear a full-on parka, and we would have been fine. So we are here today, and we want to say a very special thank you to our friends at Evenflo for giving us this opportunity to talk to you guys. We've been working with Evenflo for a while now, and we've always kind of enjoyed their baby end of things, but now we're really getting to learn about their feeding stuff. So
Absolutely.
besides breastfeeding, it grows with us with those tilty cups. I swear to you. Those cups
Awesome,
are
right?
have revolutionized.
Genius. They're genius.
They are total genius. But today we are talking strictly boobs, and we are here to answer your tough questions when it comes to breastfeeding your twins. So we have questions that are already coming in. We have a lot of questions that you guys have written in. We're going to jump on automatically. You're all right with it?
We are ready to
throw
go.
ourselves right in. Okay, so Eva says she's a twin breastfeeding mom here. Hi, Eva! And they nursed until 21 months, and they had to wean due to discomfort with the next pregnancy. Well, that's not a question, but first of all, God bless you for getting pregnant again.
Good job, Mama.
Oh my gosh.
Awesome.
OMG is all that we have to say. All right, so we're going to jump in, and we have our first question. It's from Melissa. Hello, Melissa. Melissa says, I have 5-day-old boy-girl twins born at 35 weeks. My daughter's in the NICU for a cleft palate. My son is at home with us, but struggles to stay latched even with a nipple shield. They're both on formula to gain weight. I have been pumping for my son and mixing it with his formula. I only get about 1 feeding per day from pumping. Let's keep in mind, they're 5 days old. Okay, so I really just want to go on the record and say that. Should I keep trying to get my son to latch, and how can I pump enough for my daughter? So those are 2 parts. Okay, so her son is born with a cleft palate.
Yep.
Do we continue to try to get him to latch, or do we say, let's really prioritize here and the milk is more? What do you think?
I think right now, especially because we're talking about 2 babies.
Yeah.
We're talking about cleft palate. There's a lot happening and a lot going on, and just wanting to keep your milk supply, get the other baby latched, pumping. There's the NICU. There's so many things happening. I would say that the best thing is to work on your daughter. The daughter's the one that is home, right? And
5 days old.
Yeah, 5 days old. There's a couple of things about this question that I want to address. One is when she talks about she's only able to pump 1 extra feeding per day. That can be perception too of what 1 extra feeding actually is. Okay,
True.
because 5-day-olds, especially preemies, but even a full-term 5-day-old is eating somewhere around a half an ounce of breast milk a day per feeding.
Okay.
Half an ounce
So
to
give us-
maybe an ounce.
All right, so give us how much is half an ounce? Like what would be?
15 cc's.
Which is like a medicine cup, which is half of what I would take for NyQuil. Isn't that 30?
Yeah, that's 30 is an ounce. So we're talking half an ounce to an ounce per feeding, and you're just doing it frequently. 5 days, your milk is just starting to come in. Okay, so what winds up happening is when babies are in the hospital, they're typically, you know, if they're being fed formula in the hospital, they're typically being fed a lot more volume from the bottle than what you would be getting out of your breast. And what that does is it leads to moms feeling like they're not making enough or they're not pumping enough, when actually baby stomachs are really small. And so the feedings are really small. If you know, and plus maybe your milk is just not fully in, or it's just about transitioning now. So you need, when we're talking 5 days, you need to give it another day or two.
The other thing that I want to bring up is because she had them at 35 weeks. Couldn't it take longer for her milk to come in because it might have been a difficult delivery, or is it typical?
It all it has nothing to do with the 35 weeks, but it can have to do with the type of delivery she had. If she delivered and had a large blood loss, if she had a ton of IV fluids, I mean, that can contribute to a delayed, your milk being delayed and coming in. But when we talk about just having a premature baby, colostrum's there before you ever even deliver. And what actually triggers your milk to come in? And this is a good one, because it's beyond just dating of the, you know, how old, when was the baby born, but even whether they were born vaginally or by C-section, because this comes up a lot. This question, is it not just going to be delayed because I had a C-section? The answer is that, you know, the way your milk comes in is initially you have colostrum during the pregnancy. That's there. Okay, that's going to be there.
That's always waiting no matter what.
So
whether I had my babies at 22 weeks or whether I have them at 37 weeks, that's that.
Exactly. So it's going to be there. What triggers the mature milk to come in when we're talking like day 3, day 5, sometimes a little bit longer, is the delivery of the placenta. Okay, so the placenta delivers, and there's a huge hormonal shift that occurs, so that your progesterone drops like drastically, like in a second, and that triggers prolactin levels to increase, and 5 days later you get milk. So your body doesn't know how that placenta came out.
It doesn't even care.
It just knows it did.
It's just like, okay, that's my sign.
Exactly. So, and it has little to do with actually how much you feed in those first few days. It has little to do with how much you pump in those first few days.
Pissed right now.
It has mostly to do with the placenta delivering. That's called lactogenesis too. Way too complicated to get into, but just keep in mind.
Didn't they sing studio?
There you go. The method of the birth is not as important as the fact that the placenta delivered, that you're healthy, that you're hydrated, not overly hydrated, and your birth trauma can sometimes cause a delay.
Okay, so she can produce enough milk because her baby's, it still may be the immature milk, the mature milk may not be.
She's just transitioning most likely, and it sounds like she's actually producing milk and mixing it with formula. So it could be a misperception of how much the baby needs to eat. I want to answer one more part of her question because I think this is important.
Yes.
She talked about mixing the breast milk with formula.
Do it.
Okay.
Talk about it.
So,
go.
So I don't want to miss that one because a lot of you guys are probably thinking the same thing. You know, do I mix it together? I combo feed. What am I doing?
I can't wait to hear what you say.
I would never mix formula with breast milk. Here's the reason why. Okay. Breast milk, once the baby drinks it, if they touch it to their lips and don't finish everything that you pumped, now remember, that's liquid gold. You're not tossing that. It's very different than formula. So you want to make sure that you understand the differences between how do you feed formula and how do you feed breast milk, especially if you're combo feeding, because you're treating them completely different. The reason I don't mix it together is because say you take what you pumped and you fill the rest with formula and the baby doesn't finish the whole bottle.
You just wasted it.
You just wasted it.
Oh, I hate that.
So then you'd have to throw the whole thing out. If the baby drinks the breast milk first and then you supplement with a little bit of formula after, and you pace it and you do it slow, then if there's leftover formula, you would go ahead and toss the rest of it. I think that is super important. Plus, you can also see how much breast milk is going into your baby. You don't want to dilute it out.
No, but you know the funny thing is like when people look at the registry that I created, everybody's like, why do you need so many bottles? Because even let's say that you are exclusively pumping. So I was an exclusive pumper, so I know about all this insanity. So we basically had to use different bottles. So I would have a bottle that would be with their breast milk, and then to top them off, I've had a bottle with formula. So you're having 27 million bottles. But at least I knew that the breast milk was in and then I could I could just go back and top them off.
I would even actually, and it's something I don't think I've ever really discussed, but for combo feeding, whether it's multiple, singleton, whatever, what you're describing about lots of bottles, if you're going to combo feed, I'd probably keep my formula bottles separate from my breast milk bottles, because the way that you're actually sterilizing and washing is totally different, and you don't want to over sterilize the bottles that you're using for your breast milk because you don't need to.
Yes.
So you probably keep them separate and mark them.
All right.
Good
we heard a bing. Bing is good. That was you. Okay.
Oh.
So for Melissa, we have a plan. Melissa, if you're on right now, definitely just let us know that you're there, or Julie could let us know that you're there, but we hope that we were able to answer your questions. Now, here's a great one. Colleen.
Yes.
My nice Irish Colleen.
Yes.
Colleen says, I'm pregnant with twin girls.
Yes.
So that's my brogue. It wasn't that good.
It was all right. I wasn't going to mention it.
It's all right. So she's expected to deliver in right after September. Mm-hmm. She has the Twinsy nursing pillow, and she struggles with what kind of furniture to get to nurse on. Okay, so now regardless of which pillow, and coincidentally, we actually have, can we take a picture, please? Go on that side. Okay. Go and put your face. No, sit down.
Oh, you put your face one of these?
So yeah, this is our... You don't like
you did not.
You don't like my carnival style method of that. So this is a very large pillow. At Twiniversity, we've worked with a lot of different companies, and we've tried to find the one that has worked best. Unfortunately, a lot of twin pillows weren't really created by twin parents, and sometimes and we're not like talking like crunchy organic pillows. We're talking about really like utilitarian, what's going to be the most effective for our baby. And so our families, not just Natalie Diaz, but our families found that this pillow is the most effective.
Great.
So now Shari brought up a really good point that not only could we use this pillow as a twin pillow, but if we flipped it and we spinned it around, we actually could use it if we wanted to breastfeed one at a time. But now, they make this other pillow, which we didn't even really get to play with. But Twinsy is now making a singleton pillow because they have had such unbelievable success with their twin pillows. It's okay. Shh. All right. Betty's making a cameo. All right, Betty Lou. Welcome to our reality. Why is her collar off?
Okay.
Hold on.
It's all wet.
She ripped out of it. She ripped out of it.
Okay, give me the collar. Okay. Please hold, everybody.
Oh my goodness.
Guys, they always say don't work with babies or pets. Okay.
Sorry.
It's okay.
Is it not peeing everywhere?
No, she's not peeing, but she's wet.
Okay.
Guys, get me a doggy bone, please. And by the way, you guys are the worst babysitters of dogs that I've ever had in my life.
We tried.
Okay.
To keep her stable.
Guys,
They come.
Betty, she's got a doggy bone for you.
Don't go under the.
That's fine. She could go under that. Okay. You need to go outside and you need to shut the door.
Okay, I got
so she
totally
doesn't come
slobbered
in.
just now.
It's cool water. That's the good news.
Why did you do that?
You don't have this happen during your other? Welcome to the world of twins and
I
an 80-pound dog.
I had it with my last dog. I just forgot because now my dog is 4 pounds. Yeah.
That comical break. I'm soaking wet. I told my kids
Little
that
intermission.
I was like,
Doggy intermission.
guys, I'll give you $3 if you just watch the dog. Well, they really they don't have to do anything.
My kids they know better. I threaten them.
Shut the door. I should threaten more.
Oh, my kids, forget it. We used to do the show. I used to do a live web TV show for years. And it would happen at 9 o'clock once a week.
At night?
At night.
Okay.
And the kids would be, and you could hear them coming down the stairs.
Oh,
and I would literally just look up and Joe would go running. Like, they knew, do not come down at that time.
Oh,
now what I have to deal with is not them coming down. They're on the freaking Wi-Fi.
Oh!
So I know.
They're eating
when
all
you
your
look, when
data.
I cut out.
You gotta change the password.
No,
right
when
I
I cut out and I don't have enough streaming, it's because I'm like, kids are on Instagram or whatever. So that's what I'm dealing with now. I'm tweens. So they're not actually twins. She's
I have
a
to
tween.
wait till my blood pressure goes down before we could continue this.
It's a whole other conversation. Enjoy your babies.
Yeah, breastfeeding, honestly, in the grand scheme of things,
I loved it.
breastfeeding was a breeze in comparison
I got
to
12
this.
and 14-year-old daughters, and
But they're good kids, though.
oh, they're so good.
They're much better than the average bear. I gotta say
they
the
are.
truth.
They are good.
They are.
I'm
I like
blessed.
them. I would
love
keep
them.
All right.
I'll keep them.
Go back to this pillow.
Okay.
Let's. I need a glass of wine right now because really, what do I ask? What do I seriously ask
so,
of those kids?
So let's talk about what she's asking here, which is
so
the
where is she going to fit? Where is she going to breastfeed?
You
What's
know,
going to be her base of operations?
It's such a good thing to bring up because we prepare in so many different ways. But this is a place. So where you're going to plan to breastfeed the babies is going to be a spot that you're going to sit in quite a bit of your life once you come home with these two babies. Whether you have one or two or three, you're doing this often, and with multiples, it's going to be just multiplied.
Yes.
So I would say, really set up that breastfeeding spot, a section, a chair, a place with a table, everything that you're going to need right there. The question she's asking is, with this twin pillow, how does she do that? And as you're shopping for, I'm a huge advocate for getting like a glider.
Yes.
Okay, because when I teach, especially like in my breastfeeding class, I talk about not just positioning of the baby, but your own positioning of sitting straight up, having something to support you, so you're not leaning back on a couch or trying to lean over, hunch over in a bed, to be able to bend your knees higher than your hips with a nursing stool. All those things, that's the first part of positioning, is positioning yourself. Then we're positioning the baby, and it's really hard to get good latch and position unless you are properly positioned and supported. The more you hunch over, the more you lean over, the more your feet are flat, and you can test it. Like, if you have your feet on the floor, get a few books and put your knees up a little and feel how different that feels on your lower back when you're nursing. So I would really invest in a good glider. Now,
do you know who makes a good one that fits this pillow? Little Castle.
Oh, okay. So that's great.
Little Castle is because it's a chair and a half. You have to look for this pillow and for twins. With most single chairs, like the regular ones that you find at Babies R Us and stuff, you don't fit.
Do Talier make one too? I have one in my house.
They make a chair and a half?
It's extra wide.
Okay.
So either one.
Good.
The point is that you don't want the single chairs because you're not going to be able to fit your twin pillows very well into it. But at the same time, when we do use our pillows, I tend to keep the pillow. I recommend keeping the pillow much higher than the way that you see most pillows being used, where they're low down. And then that speaks to that whole hunching over again versus sitting up.
What did you think of that, though? Because I feel like it's fluffier. I feel like it's thicker.
Here's what I think. I think the design is very innovative and unique in that what you're doing is this is becoming the back piece. And it looks like it would be really nice for like football holes, dual football holes. The only thing I worry about a little bit is that we're not only doing football holes.
No, we like a variety of positions.
And so I like a pillow that I don't like to buy too many things. So, I like to have one piece that actually can do multiple things. So it can do twins, it can do one, because you might be in the beginning, especially I do recommend doing one at a time. So you want something that you can use like that. And you're going to be lifting it pretty high up to nurse. So sometimes it's even with it, you have to try it out, because even some of the smaller chairs, they rest on the armrest and then it pulls it up.
So the babies would be on the armrests.
Yeah, like these sides of the pillow are going to actually be on the armrest.
Top of the armrest.
The very wide. It may be too wiggly for mom. Depends on how big or small you are. If you're really tiny, you may not feel supported and hugged in a big chair.
Okay. That is definitely an option. All right, I want to definitely go to ask a question. Amanda says, what are our best tips for tandem feeding? So now, of course, we have this bonus embryo, right, that showed up, which is really great. So the majority of us have to, if we're going to attempt to breastfeed quickly, we need to get to tandem feeding as quick as possible. So when, let's say we delivered on time, all things being equal, just like regular normal delivery, we're not even going to take anything else in consideration. What are some tips you could give parents to get on the road to tandem feeding exclusively?
It's going to be so individual because, and I'm going to actually say what I would recommend is that it doesn't have to be as quick as possible. It has to be at your pace when you're ready for it. Quick as possible might actually put the pressure to do it faster, where that could interfere with the breastfeeding more than just waiting for the timing to be right for all the things that you're looking for, which means you need to. in the beginning, a newborn, here's all they know. They come out, they know how to suck. If you're lucky.
And poop.
They know how to suck. They don't know how to bring their face to the breast.
Yes.
They don't know how to like open wide necessarily. They
Yes.
don't know how to even, once they get on, they can't even hold their face to the breast.
No.
You're holding them there. What they do, they're reflexive, and so sucking is a reflex. If
Yes.
you position them right and get them deep enough on the breast, they're gonna suck.
Okay.
Now that takes you holding their head, holding them close, paying attention, right?
So you really have to investigate this
You
for
really need
baby.
to focus, and so you're to get good positioning, so you don't end up sore, right? Because you're not hanging off the nipple.
Yeah.
You're not paying attention, and you're paying attention to one, and one's hanging off the nipple. These are going to cause issues that you're going to have to then come back from, which are either you think you're latching, and you're really not getting milk out.
Okay.
Now the baby's spent 20 minutes on the breast, but hardly got anything out because the latch wasn't good. Okay.
This is tough though.
But
I have to say, like, the truth, like, I'm trying to think practically.
Practically I've worked with so many multiples and actually worked with them breastfeeding. Practically in the beginning, I found that they actually go quicker if they can do quicker feedings one at a time.
Okay.
If you got a good latch and you're focused and you're listening for swallows, the feeding will not take as long as trying to do them both and not really being sure.
So when they're born,
Yes.
we one at a time. So maybe we have a stronger baby. We focus on the stronger baby, right? So we'll focus on the stronger baby. We'll get that one perfected, but we're not going to neglect the other baby. We're going to alternate, or I'm just trying to like get a picture, okay? Because I know that the way that I did things wasn't normal because I had preemies.
Yes.
And I had kids in the NICU.
Yes.
And so I did not get that opportunity to have a regular experience.
I'm speaking to the moms that I've worked with that, deliver full term or almost full term, no babies in the nurseries or NICUs, going home, delivering.
Yes.
And those moms typically, like when I teach my breastfeeding class, I usually start them off one at a time. Because even then, you want to know how each baby is completely different, right?
Yeah.
So you have 2 different children. They're going to have different ways of sucking, different ways that they're eating, different ways that they swallow. And you need to get to know each one so that when you're nursing 2 at the same time, you're not treating them as if they're the same. All right, and I just feel like when you do one at a time, you can really hear the swallows. You really can see that what is this feeding? Like for example, babies give you cues as to when they need to burp.
Yeah.
And each baby's a little bit different. Okay, so some babies, they'll arch their back. Right in the middle of the feeding, they just arch.
Yes.
Or they pull off. Okay, that's a sign they need to burp. Other babies, they'll just wiggle their leg. And that's a sign.
And
that
then you know.
And moms get to know your own babies. You might not even be paying attention to it, but you do know what I mean.
So what about this? What if we, once our babies are born,
Yes.
to get the best, to have the most success at Tandem, what if we say this?
Yes.
Breastfeed 1 baby per feeding. And then it's also a great opportunity to give your partner an opportunity to feed the baby. My kid, I look like I have lamb's hair all of a sudden. So it'll give your partner an opportunity to feed the baby. You could get to know that baby. And then, do we do it per day or do we do it per feed?
Are you talking about if you wanted to alternate and do like pumping and feeding?
I'm trying to figure out.
How do you do this?
I'm trying to figure out, and I like to figure this out live with everybody because there's always the time that it goes. And I like that we got a heart because we're trying to figure this out together. Is that I created Twiniversity so that parents don't make the same mistakes I did. That was really my humble reasoning for this, because I did not have a Shari, but I did have lactation consultants in the NICU. And because my children were medically fragile, I was actually steered away from having them to the tap, so to speak, and much more focused on breast milk as a medical necessity. And we worried about everything. But now I'm thinking, there's parents who have wonderful opportunities that don't have to worry about the NICU and whatever. But I want them to get off on the right foot from the start. So what if we go in the hospital, right? We have lactation consultants there. We have them come to the hospital. I always say that people should bring Post-its as one of their things in their diaper bag, so then you find your office. And I put a note and be like, hey, Shari, it's Nat. I'm in room 207. And I always feel that no matter how many people were on that list, you are always more excited to see me. Because if you're excited to breastfeed, it's nice when you have a passionate profession and you're like, yeah, she's in it. Let's do this. So we have a lactation consultant come to us in the hospital, and then we have her show us what to do. But then when we're doing it on our own, we breastfeed one baby, right? We get to know one baby, or should we spend a day with that baby? Like, do we say like, okay, like Anna's my baby A and everything's good. Do I breastfeed Anna for a whole day to look for those little idiosyncrasies? Or do I go baby A at 7 o'clock, baby B at 9 o'clock?
I know what you're asking.
Yeah.
And I know what all of you are thinking. You want some kind of a schedule because this is hard. You know, you got two babies and you want to like make it easier. You want to create something where we can give you those answers to say, on such and such a day you do baby A, and on such and such a day you do baby B, or at this time or that time. And the answer is not going to be one that anybody's going to like, but it's the truth.
We don't like you anyway, so it doesn't
the
matter.
answer to the question is, in the beginning, I cannot give you a schedule, and having twins is not easy, but it is something that you can do. You're going to need support. So I would not spend a whole day with one baby and put the other baby on a bottle for that whole day.
Okay.
I would, unless that's your plan to do combo feeding. If you're planning to try to exclusively breastfeed, then you're going to try to be breastfeeding them as much as you can on doing them both separately. If you can latch them both at the same time, fantastic. But what I'm saying to you is that sometimes those first few days with not a great latch will cause sore nipples, but you won't know.
Stressing me out.
It will cause sore nipple, but not for 3 or 4 days later. So you don't realize the damage that you're doing until you get home, till it's done. And this is why, although I know that it's a lot of work having two babies at one time, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I mean, I didn't have two. You had two. Those of you who have multiple.
Most of them.
You know this is hard. This is one of those things that just is going to take more time, and where I would spend most of my resources is to find who's going to help me with everything else, because I'm going to need someone to feed me. I'm going to need someone to bring me water. My full-time job at the beginning is just going to be feeding. And where can I grab a nap in between? And that's it. And I just think that, doing them one at a time in the beginning till you can get, and it might just be a few days. It might be 2 days and you're doing fine. But what I don't want people to feel is that they have to rush to that tandem feeding. They don't need to rush to it until they feel ready to do two. Sometimes, you'll need a little more time to make sure you know what you're doing.
All right.
That's just my answer. Again, I can only go be. I'm not. We're gonna come back to this. Whenever I give advice,
when we do a next one, honestly, I think we should do nothing but this topic.
I think that what I want to just say too is, and I think that's a great idea. I think what I want to say is, as with everything when it comes to breastfeeding, and my fans, they know, they know that I'm not giving you advice necessarily on what I did, because even my own breastfeeding experiences, I exclusively nursed, but I struggled through the whole thing. Most of my classes that I teach out of my own mistakes. Okay, so when I'm giving you advice based on, like, for multiples right now, it's not because I had multiples and I lived through this personally. It's from what I've seen working with hundreds of clients
that had multiples.
Multiples that I've delivered as a midwife and then worked with as a lactation consultant. So I'm there in the hospital and I'm there for weeks after working with them. Everyone's different, and this is the majority of what I see, that when they really succeed, it's when they give themselves time. That's just mine.
I hate time. Time's my enemy.
Well, you know what? That's my experience.
Oh, jeez, Louise. Okay, we have to, but we're going to come back to that.
We should talk about
this. The funny thing is we kept everybody. Because I know that you guys.
I know.
I'm with you. For the record, I am you. I am just you. And even though I am never having more children ever in my life, I feel very obligated that I have thousands of children, right, to you guys. So we're going to come back to this.
My goal is to help you achieve your breastfeeding goals and succeed with the length of time that you want to breastfeed. So my goal is to sometimes not make it super easy for you at the beginning, but to long-term achieve your goals.
All right. Are you ready for the next one? This is a really good one.
I was born ready now.
She was born ready. Beth. Beth. I was listening to Kiss earlier today, so that's appropriate. I've been breastfeeding exclusively since my twins were born. They're now 6 weeks old, which is pretty good. That's fantastic. Good for you. You made it 6 weeks. Now it's going to hopefully get better. She's noticed that her supply has dramatically decreased. Okay, so I have to go off camera because I can't see because I'm blind. So it says, neither baby is satisfied after feeding when I pump. I'm only getting 2 ounces per breast, and at some points in the day. Is there any hope I could get my supply back up? I had to supplement the past 2 days, but I don't want to give up breastfeeding. First of all, who said she had to give up breastfeeding?
there's so many answers to that. That question is so loaded.
You don't give up.
Okay, so
if you don't want to give up,
right?
If you want to give up,
there's no
I give
reason,
you permission
there's
to.
no reason to
but
give
no,
up at all.
No way, Jose.
But let's address a couple different points because a lot of these questions have multiple things that need to be discussed.
Yes.
One is first at 6 weeks, babies go through natural growth spurts.
Yes.
Okay, they occur typically around 2 to 3 weeks. Again, around 6 weeks. 3 months and 6 months, and that's what you're going to see is it seems like you don't have enough for what your baby needs. That's how it looks. It's like the baby's eating, everything was fine 3 days ago, now you're feeding and the baby seems hungry, they come off fussy, they're like looking for more, they want to spend the whole day on the breast. That's when you talk to moms who wind up supplementing and then giving up,
that's when
it's because, and you say, well, when did it happen? Well, they were about 2-3 weeks,
and you're like,
or they're about 6 weeks. It's just a normal it's a normal growth spurt, and I have a whole chapter in my program about growth spurts because that's how people quit breastfeeding. They don't understand that this happens. Now, what's the worst thing you could do when you hit that growth spurt? First of all, not recognize it for what it is, and start supplementing. Yeah. Because the minute you start to supplement at that point, you are
okay. But hold on, she already did. Mm-hmm. So now we don't want Beth to feel bad.
Yes.
Okay. So since she already did,
what does she do now?
What do we do now?
What she does is she gets into bed with those babies, and if you're able to pump out 2 ounces for each baby, then the pump is going to get out less than the babies are actually getting out. 2 ounces or even 2.5 ounces, if you're able to do that every 2 to 3 hours, that's enough to keep them hydrated. So what I would say to you is start right now. Take the babies into bed, take a little breastfeeding vacation, and just let them go to town and nurse as much as they want right now. If you give yourself 24 to 48 hours of just focusing on breastfeeding, your supply is going to increase like that. Okay, she could stop the supplementation. If you're only supplementing, I tell people all the time, if you're only supplementing 1 feeding a day, you don't need any. So if you're giving that 1 extra bottle, you actually are making enough that you don't need to give any. Extra nursing. You just think you do. Okay. And so extra nursing, so the baby's going to be hungrier, right? Because they're not getting full on the formula. The baby's going to eat a little more frequently. Your breasts are going to respond to that, supply and demand. And then within a day or 2, you're back on track again.
Okay, so now let's just say, Beth didn't say it, but I'm going to throw in a bonus curve here. Odds are she's somewhat on a schedule because to breastfeed twins 24 hours a day will send her into a mental institution very, very quickly because of sleep deprivation. It's no other reason because the twins aren't going to drive you crazy, but the sleep deprivation will. So if she was on a schedule, right, so she's feeding them every 3 hours, 24 hours a day, she knows that she has that, right? So I don't know if she is doing that, but I'm just going to say that maybe that's what she's doing. If you go on this breastfeeding vacation, which I totally dig, and I love the premise of anything with the word vacation in it, I am just already excited about. So let's say I go and I just I go off the grid, I start nursing. Can I get back on that feeding schedule so that I could go back to a sense of normalcy?
100%, absolutely. All that happened was that the baby, see how the babies grow, we talk about growth spurts, they don't grow the same every day. No. They have spurts. And so when you hit that spurt, maybe 2 or 2.5 ounces was what they were eating. And that's why you were doing fine on your schedule. And then overnight they grew. And now they need 3 ounces. Now, how do you catch up? Your body's doing what it's supposed to do. It's making what your babies eat, right? Body only knows, make more because of more frequent nursing. So it's not enough where they're going to start losing weight or get dehydrated, but they're going to want to nurse more frequently. That's what we talk about. Go off the grid, give it up for a day or 2, and just nurse because that stimulation to the breast, you're going to feel it. You're going to be like, oh my God, I feel full again. I feel engorged again. Like it and then all of a sudden,
all of a sudden,
they're gagging and choking because you're making too much. It's just that cycle that will keep happening 2 to 3 weeks, 6 weeks, 3 months, 6 months, and then back to the schedule.
So don't give up, Beth.
No.
The moral of the story is vacation.
Supplementing either with formula or pulling out the frozen milk, because that's what a lot of moms do is they start pulling out their freezer stash.
Oh, that's a whole other topic.
It's going to just, you'll never catch up because your body has no idea what you're asking of it.
Okay, so now, that was Beth. Now we have another question, and it says, hold on, I got to scroll down. Don't even tell me that that's going.
What about these?
We could go there. Well, we have those people we're live.
Oh,
Julie
okay.
was sending me these are people that are on there because for some reason it doesn't come up here. So we have
Yeah, mine's
a
not
system.
scrolling either. Very good.
No, that's Cindy.
That's okay.
It doesn't matter if it scrolls. Mine never works ever. Okay, so we have another question. That's a tough one. Let's skip that one. I don't mean to do that. That's horrible. Okay, one of my twins seems to get frustrated after a while on the boobs. Okay, then we started a bottle and breast in the NICU, but primarily did bottle of breast milk. I'm breastfeeding, then finishing with the bottle, since otherwise sessions would last hours and it doesn't seem to get satisfied. Okay, any recommendations? So what it sounds like to me is that she doesn't think that her boobs are working as efficiently as a bottle.
Let's put it this way. It is very hard to overfeed your baby with the breast. Once the baby's done eating, and that doesn't mean that they're passed out asleep.
Yeah.
They don't usually nurse into a milk coma. Now, you can do that with a bottle. And you really don't want to. Okay, like you don't want to, a lot of people use the feeding to get them to sleep. So you overfill them till they're really out. Okay. And then you put them down. It's just not the practice you really want to stick to, because overfeeding, studies show that it leads to obesity, and whether that's formula or breast milk in the bottle, we just don't want to overfeed our children. We want to kind of simulate whatever you're going to feed, try to simulate what you would do normally on the breast, and that's paced feedings, slowing down. They typically breastfeed babies. I don't like them to nurse to sleep because you need to burp them.
Yes,
okay,
absolutely.
and they can't burp if they're asleep. So I look for cues. Now her baby, what it sounds like, that fussiness, that's actually really normal. I would be looking for like the babies, and let's grab me one of the little dolls here. I'm going to show you
one of my babies.
One of your babies here.
All right, so you're
nursing the baby, right? And the baby, you'll notice as they started to get into a rhythm and the milk's really flowing, they're very relaxed. They're like, their whole bodies are not moving. They're just relaxed. They're eating. You hear swallows. They're eating. You hear swallows. They're eating. And their bodies are relaxed. All of a sudden, something like this, like they start pulling. Or they start fussing. Or you take them off to burp and they're just really fussy. And all they want is to keep going back to the breast. But once they get on, you could tell they're not really eating. They're just kind of, they're just sucking. What's happening is your baby just wants to be soothed. Your baby's looking to suck.
You're a pacifier.
You're a pacifier. That's okay if you want to be. But to me, there's 3 things your babies can suck on. They can suck on your boob, they can suck on your finger, or they can suck on a pacifier.
Yes.
2 are attached to your body, 1 is not. Okay? And when you got 2 babies, I'm a big advocate of the pacifier because, like we talked about earlier, sucking is a life-sustaining reflex. Babies want to suck, they need to suck, and to just be like, I'm not going to give my baby a pacifier when they really want to suck, that means you're committing yourself to the boob.
So you being the pacifier.
And it's okay if you want to.
That's a whole separate question.
It's okay if you want to. And there are a lot of moms out there who are like, oh, no pacifiers, they'll get nipple confusion. That has not been my experience when you have a baby. I don't believe
in nipple confusion.
Not really. Not when you're not struggling to nurse the baby. If you're having issues getting your baby to latch, that's not the time to start a pacifier.
Yeah.
But those aren't the babies that are trying to suck.
Truth. Okay.
So
you think that's what the issue?
I think the fussiness, what's happening is she might not be stopping enough during the feeding to burp frequently during the feeding.
Yeah.
The baby's getting all those air bubbles that are not coming up, and then that fussiness afterwards could be just not getting the burps up well. And typically, and if she is supplementing with the bottle, then
pumps too.
She could have decreased her supply, right? Because she's supplementing. So the body's making what the body thinks. She gives extra. The baby sleeps a longer stretch. There's no stimulation to the breast. Again, anytime you want to increase your supply, the answer the best thing. I mean, you could do oatmeal, you could do supplement. We could talk about all those things. The number one thing that's going to increase your supply: more frequent nursing.
Okay, let us talk about pumping. Okay. All right. So a lot of our families want to pump in addition to breastfeeding because then they could build up a supply for dad or grandma or whoever to feed. So let's talk about pumping. Okay. So we have a lot of families who do a little bit of both or some that exclusively pump because another challenge is that 80% of twins are born prematurely, right? So you've seen this. So when we're in the NICU and if you're expecting and your baby spend a day in the NICU, welcome to the club. A lot of our families have spent quite an extended time in the NICU. Even my baby's at 34 weeks. Red spent a month in the NICU.
Oh wow, okay,
She just liked it there. That was the most expensive hotel.
She's a a very social
She's very.
kid.
She didn't want to leave. She loved the nurses too much. But I got used to pumping there because I couldn't live there and nurse. So then when I came home, I pretty much exclusively pumped. That is a very common story for twin families because we have to leave our babies there and we can't live in the NICU. It's not allowed. And I have yet to find a hospital. I don't know why they don't. That's a whole other story. I know that we would need so much room, but whatever.
So much to talk about. But yes, and this is, because with twins and all the added, hospital stays and complications like more C-sections, all of it together, you've got a lot of moms who are going to be pumping. Or you've just got, you've got two babies like we were talking about, that one can be fed in a bottle and one can be being breastfed at the same time and you're pumping. So I totally get it. And even with my singleton moms, I'm encouraging early initiation of the bottle. Of the bottle. So within a week after delivery, if the baby's nursing good and you're having no issues, you're introducing that bottle right away, because most of my moms, they're going back to work and they want to be able to, or even if they're not, they just want that option of being able to breastfeed or bottle feed, and babies can do both. Once you wait too long, some of them won't take a bottle. In this case, though, we're talking about like, how do you balance pumping and feeding? Right? And
so what do we do? So let's say we want to start introducing a pump into our daily lives, right? When do we start that? Do we literally start at the day that we're in the hospital? Do we ask for a pump in the hospital?
I personally do not do that because, colostrum doesn't really go into the bottle very well. You're going to lose it. So, remember, okay, so let's go back to the beginning of this conversation.
That's what happened. Okay, I had a pump into a bottle.
So a lot of things I'm going to say to all you guys are, you're going to go, oh yeah. Oh, and it sounds logical, but none of us learned this. Even I, as a nurse and a midwife, didn't know a lot of this stuff till much after.
Tell us.
So the point here is, with colostrum, remember, pumping frequently on the first 2 days, does that bring your milk in?
Does it? No.
No, what brings your milk in? I'm going to test you now.
Delivering my placenta.
Correct. So that is why...
I get so excited.
That is why we don't worry too much about how long the baby's staying on.
Okay.
That is why moms who choose not to breastfeed and only formula feed still get their milk. Why is that happening?
Placenta?
Their placenta delivered, and they're
getting good at this.
Okay, so their placenta came out, right? So that hormonal shift is taking care of that. In the first day or 2 or 3, that there is only colostrum. It's thick, it's sticky,
it's yellow.
It's
weird.
It's like the amount is it's like a teaspoon, right? Ugh. So if you pump and you sit there pumping, because the nurse who may not know what I just described to you about the placenta, okay, is saying to you, oh, get that pump on so your milk comes in. You have to remember, okay, hold on a second, I'm going to make myself really exhausted right now. I'm going to make myself sore, okay? And that liquid gold, that teaspoon of milk is going to stick to the flange.
Yes.
Most of it.
And not come out.
And not come out
it's
to the
literally
baby.
Just enough to put on your pinky by the time it gets to the end.
When I have a mom, whether they're twins or singletons, okay, and they're not able to latch babies in the NICU, or they're just not latching.
So wait a second. This is important to me. So what do you tell them? What if I know I'm not going to meet the babies because of magnesium and other stuff? Like, what do I do? If I know I'm not going to see them for a little bit, right? Let's say I had a traumatic delivery, like maybe some people I know. What would you have done?
I would express onto a spoon.
Onto a spoon?
And fill up a dropper.
Oh, Jesus.
Think about it, okay? Your hand expressing.
Yeah.
Okay, just hand expressing enough to get onto a spoon, take a dropper, squirt it in the baby's mouth, and you're done.
So disgusted with myself.
Okay, no, this is where but this is why we have these conversations. This is why we're doing this, right?
I know, but then I want to play Back to the Future.
You can't do that. I want to do that too with my
bleeding raw nipples.
With the bloody nipples that I know better now.
But I think a lot of people that have gone through that. So if they're watching that, I can't be the only one that's frustrated. But all for my pregnant moms, this is why we exist, right? Because we don't want you to have bloody nips Russells like other of us have.
The pumping in the first day, the second day, I'm not talking like day 4. Then you really do need to start pumping. But the first 2 days, I would not be using a pump. I would be hand expressing onto a spoon, If the baby's with you, if you can be brought to the nursery, then put on a spoon, pour it in the baby's mouth. If you're asking me, like, if they're on MAG, if they're unable to get out of bed, you're completely separated, then a dropper. Okay, and then that's going to get the baby all the colostrum that they need. Ideally, if you can get yourself to the nursery so you can be doing skin to skin and the hand expression, that's the best of all.
Okay, let's talk about the Evenflo pump. Yeah. Okay, so we have one. I'm going to hold my baby. Did you see this baby's clothes, by the way? Have you ever seen this? This is a magnificent baby with the magnets. I love that, man. It's my favorite outfit.
I remember when they started.
Oh my God. You know, Lauren is a twin mom. The inventor.
Yeah, I met her.
Okay, welcome. Ma'am, may I express some milk for you? That's where we've come to our point in our friendship. Ma'am, may I please
may I hold your breast?
May I please come for you? So this is the Evenflo pump. Now tell us why. I mean, I know the fancynesses of this, and I do.
I work with Evenflo. I am their spokesperson, their expert, and there's a reason for that. Let me just explain that for a minute, because this is not a pump that they approached me and showed me and I said, oh, I love this thing. Okay, I'll endorse it and I love it. This is a pump that I helped them actually design. So I was part of the design, creating the design of this pump. I was part of the initial creation of it, and that is why there are all the features on this pump that when I thought of a breast pump and I thought, okay, what were all the features that I'd want to put in? What would this pump need to have to be like that ideal pump?
I'm taking it apart while I'm talking to you.
That's what's in this pump. And so I'm going to go through a couple of the features, and those are the ones that when I first spoke to Evenflo, they didn't even have it yet. They were in the design. They didn't have it when I started working with them. This is
when did they launch this?
This has been out since, I believe we're on our 3rd year. Okay. But I was with them for a long time, and we started designing the pump and looking at what are the features, and and then I started to break down, like, what are before I did this, I was a nurse. I was a labor and delivery nurse. I was a nurse midwife. I delivered 600 babies. I had my practice for 7 years. Then I opened a retail store back in 2002, before there was stuff on the internet that you could buy, right? And I did that with Joe, my husband, for 10 years.
Love Joe. Shout out to Joe. Love you, Joe.
Joe did a live thing with me last night. It was so fun. Yeah, it was really good. And we had the store, and that's where I really got to understand, like, take the medical part of my experience and the products and merge them together so I could say, here's what I recommend and why. Here's what I do with patients, and here's what the products that are going to create solutions for you, and here's what I don't like. Okay. And so that's why Evenflo did approach me to help design the pump, because I was selling pumps and I was working with moms with
pumps.
So
you knew all the pumps on the market already.
I do know all the pumps on the market.
That's how I feel about strollers sometimes.
Exactly.
Like, I feel that way. Like, wouldn't somebody just let me do this?
So this is exactly what happened, and I looked at all the different pumps. Not any one pump had everything that I really liked, and I'd be like, I wish it did this, but okay, whatever. This pump literally has all the features, and there are things that are more like functionality, okay, that I think are the most important things that you look for first. And then there are more of the accessory, like convenience, value, stuff like that. Those come second to look at. But when you're looking at a pump, I'll show you the 3 things about this pump.
Could this be covered by my insurance?
It absolutely is covered by insurance.
So, but your insurance plan has to cover this particular
It's not
pump.
your plan. What you have to do is go through a DME, durable medical equipment provider, durable equipment providers that can get your pump and bill your insurance. Just because your insurance says, no, you have to use this DME, doesn't mean that that's necessary. I've noticed all kinds of things happening.
They're saying that. They're like, here's my choice of the 5 pumps that I get
but you can call some of the national DMEs and you can ask them, do you work with this insurance? And then you'll find out, oh, yes, they do, and I can get my Evenflo pump. There are several national.
Do you know who they could call?
What you can do, if you go to evenflofeedinginsurancepump.com. Okay, there's a
Jewel, could you link that, please?
Okay, there's a website there that links to 2 of our national DMEs. There are 4 or 5, multiple now. Okay. That has to be updated. But there's also a little form to fill out at the bottom. If you're having trouble locating the Evenflo Feeding pump through a DME, you leave a message there, and Evenflo is going to get right back to you to help you find what we can do.
Okay.
So
why do I want this pump versus the others?
Okay, so why do you want this pump? You may not be as well known as the others. No. Okay, you may not see it in the hospital the way you're seeing it the others, but here's the features you want to look for in a breast pump, okay?
I like to play with it.
I'm going to put it back together so I can show them. She likes to play.
Okay.
Okay,
It's fun.
number one feature that I would look for, well, it's not number one, but this is the number one I'm going to talk about right now, is that the pump should come with multiple flange sizes included, not just available to purchase.
Oh,
Okay, now when we were designing this, there's a basic version, and then there's
Yes.
a deluxe and deluxe plus, and the question came up: in the basic, can we just do
the basic
size?
size.
And they can buy extra? No, because this multiple sizes. It comes with three different sizes. That's not an accessory. That's a functionality. If your flange does not fit your nipple,
This is the flange.
this is the flange, the part that goes into up to your nipple. If that doesn't fit properly, your pump is going to hurt and your milk's not going to come out. Now, is that accessory? No, that's functionality. So then what happens? Well, moms usually blame themselves. So it's like, I didn't make enough milk.
Am I crazy that the pump I used didn't even have a flange? It was just a cup.
This is a flange. Most pumps, what you're seeing is a soft silicone flange. This is very unique.
This is lovely.
It's beautiful, right? And check this out too. It's soft, and what it does is when you put this on, it creates a
suction.
cushion.
Oh,
Like
wow.
feel this right here. So there's a cushion, okay?
Okay, see that?
And then see how silicone on the outside is kind of like sticky?
So I'm not nuts.
No, they're hard plastic. Most of them are like this.
That's such bullshit.
Okay. I didn't say it.
I
So
did.
Because
I know what this felt like. I felt like it was like Madonna. Like I was in like a Madonna video.
It goes
pumping.
even better. Look at this. And I'm going to hold it close so you can see. You see how the outer rim is more clear?
Yes.
And then there's a texturedness to the inside.
With little hearts.
What this is it actually, this part creates a really nice seal. It's sticky. Okay?
Yes,
but
I see it.
the texture doesn't stick, so there's no friction on the nipple. It's a very well thought out piece. Okay?
This truthfully is the critical element in successful pumping. It's the way that I think about it, because if you're not comfortable, you're not going to want to use that machine.
That is so smart, Natalie, because really when we look at
that's sweet of you
it's
to
so
say.
smart, and it's most people don't realize it is not how hard does the pump suck. It's how comfortable are you when you're pumping.
Yes, you're on that thing for a long time as an exclusive
It
pumper.
actually is going,
hours
it's
of my
actually
day.
going to make the difference of how your milk comes out. So flange sizing, and think about this, a lot of moms don't even know these come in different sizes.
No.
So when you open the box and you see three different ones,
You're like, oh, what does it
you
matter?
automatically go, oh, they come in different sizes. Which one's mine? Versus there's one, it didn't work, milk didn't come out, I didn't make any milk.
If you took it to a university class, you'd learn.
Exactly.
You'd learn that.
Unfortunately, not everybody's doing it.
That's
They should
okay.
do it, but that's
all right.
it. Okay. So 3 different sizes included with the pump.
Yeah.
And actually, if you want to look in that box real quick, I just want to say,
Sure.
because it comes with 3 sizes that actually fit about 80 to 90% of all moms.
In this?
In that bag. 80 to 90% of moms are going to fit within the 3 sizes that come with the pump. And so, what about the other 10%? Right?
Yeah, where are they?
Right here.
Oh, you got it.
These are the larger flanges. So now we have.
So wait a minute, this would be
This
me?
is even bigger than this.
Can I open this?
Yeah, absolutely. Is it going to be you? You know what? This is the thing about flanges. It's not like bra fittings where I could look at you and say, "Oh, I know what size you
you're
are."
a size 2.
I know what size you are. But when it comes to flange fitting, you actually have to try it. Very large
Oh my
breasts
God.
can need very
That's
small
my next
flanges.
profession. I'm going to be a flange fitter.
Flange fitter.
Hi, I'm Natalie. I'll be your flange fitter of the day. So
Okay.
this is just the different size flange.
This is the larger part, right? And then you've got a larger insert, bigger
Okay.
than the 3 that come with the pump. So you can buy that as an accessory
if I need it.
If you need it, because you
But
can use it.
85%, I'm good.
I would
I
say
got it covered.
80%, 90% of moms fit into this, don't need this, but we know, Evenflo knows, that there are going to be some moms who need the larger ones, so this is available to purchase.
Is it nipple size or is it boob size?
No, it's nipple.
It's nipple
It's
size.
nipple. It's areola. It's about how you pump. It has to do with trying it, and one side could need one size, and the other side could need a completely different size.
Story of my
You
life.
could start off in the beginning when you first have your babies with one size. So you need to be paying attention to that, because it's one of the things that will affect your milk expression. Okay.
This is a big deal to me too.
Do you want me to go over the pump?
I do.
Okay.
I get so excited
I know.
when I have accessories.
Let's keep
Okay.
going with the pump, and then I'll
All
go
right,
right
great.
into that with you. Second thing,
Yeah.
individual speed and suction dials on your pump. This is how you get multiple letdowns during one feeding. That's going to help to empty your breast.
Yeah.
Having one button where you push it and it does let down, or an inverse, like a dial that when you turn the speed up, the suction automatically decreases. When you turn the suction up, the speed automatically decreases. That's not going to help you get that second, third, fourth letdown. Moms can have up to 8, 9 letdowns during one feeding session. And
most pumps don't have that.
Most pumps don't have that.
They don't. That is
They
definitely
don't have
something
that.
you need to make sure that
individual
you're getting.
speed and suction is really, really, really important.
Okay.
Third thing, and this is usually, I end with it as my last main thing, functionality thing, but it's actually the first question. So when I look at a pump, I'll stand in a store, or I'll look at a new pump that comes out, my very first question that I ask is it open or is it closed?
Okay, but a lot of people they know to ask that question, but they have no idea what that means.
Okay, well, I'm going to tell you.
So people are like, is that a closed system? Is that an open system?
And
Here's
you want to be able to do a little research before you actually get to the store or you're ordering your pump, so because the person who's sitting in the store probably going to look at you like you have two heads. They might not know either, or even these medical distributors that you call, they're not going to know. Maybe they might be,
unless it's listed in the description. They might not know.
If it's closed, it's listed. If it's open, it's not.
It's not.
Okay, so here's the difference between open and a closed system. The pump goes up to your breast.
Yes.
Right?
Hold on.
Milk.
Gotta see ya.
They don't really need to see. The milk flows down into the bottle, right?
Yes.
The milk should be going down this way. It should never enter the tube. And moms think, oh, milk goes into the tube.
What is the big deal?
Right. Or moisture. There should be nothing in your tube. Okay. That means what's sucking here? Think about how hard this is sucking. It's a big motor, right?
Yeah.
And what's sucking here is going into the motor. So you don't want anything inside this tube.
Mold, bacteria.
It will grow mold.
Yes.
It will grow bacteria. It's really hard to clean these tubes. You can't get a brush in there.
No, you've got to sterilize them and then hope you do it right.
And then
even things can't get in there.
And then even the water has a hard time
choir.
drying.
Yeah.
So that you're still growing mold. That's why an open system will always have that. A closed system, what that means is that there is some kind of a sealed barrier.
Yes.
Exactly. That fits into the pump, onto the flange. You click this on, okay? Milk can splash, and I have a really good video, side-by-side video on my
of splashy milk,
of what a closed system looks like and what an open system looks like. Plus, I also have flange fitting to see on a nipple, like what does it look like.
I had an open system for the record.
If you go on my Facebook page or on my website, sharicriso.com, you can see some of those videos. Okay. You'll be able to see them. But the milk will flow down into the bottle, and then when you're done pumping, you take this off, and the instructions are never wash that.
Because we don't want the water getting in this tube.
Exactly.
Because then it's going to go into this pump.
So you're just washing your parts.
Yes.
It's much easier for mom. It's much less time consuming. You don't have to worry about mold.
Is this old dishwasher safe?
I wouldn't put the soft parts into the dishwasher. I would take the little membrane and the little diaphragm and hand wash all that.
Okay.
And then the harder parts can go into the dishwasher. Okay. But when we go back to talking about the difference between formula and breastfeeding, you don't have to sterilize your parts that much. You can hand wash, hot soapy water, air dry, totally fine for breast milk, and then or the dishwasher.
Okay. All right.
But be careful with your soft parts because you'll warp them.
Yes. Which is crazy. Even the micro steam bags will totally warp them.
Exactly. So just do as little as possible. I would say sterilize when you get them from the from the box and you first open it. Good. You clean them really well. You sterilize them. Follow the instructions for boiling or whatever you're going to do, and then after that, just not too much.
Yes.
One more thing about this. This is not a functionality, but this was part of what I really wanted because it was so comfortable for mom, and you might not know this. Most pumps, and for those of you who've pumped, when you pump, you have to kind of lean forward because the milk will backflow onto you and then break the seal and everything. So you're kind of doing this while you're pumping, right? Because of the way that they angle the flanges, you have to lean forward, which kills your back, right? We've designed the flanges. They're sit back flanges, so they're angled in a way.
They're sit back flanges.
Oh, look, I'm sitting up.
I'm going to sit up too.
And you see that the milk will go straight down.
Oh, I see that.
Okay, so they're slouch-free, sit-back type flanges.
Did you trademark that term?
No, they did.
I hope so.
It's on the. I don't know if I have the box.
I love that.
But perfect positioning.
The sit-back flange.
Perfect positioning. So this is it's a slouch-free. It's a slouch-free.
She's pumping right now.
Yeah.
We're sorry you have to. I hope you have this pump. If you would like to win this pump, because we are way over time, by the way.
We could talk all day.
If you would like to win this pump, we have pump giveaways. We have actually quite a bit of stuff that we're giving away. Julie is going to put in a link to all the items that we have for you to win. And I can't believe that we're actually over time, but that is the way that it goes. This is lunch hours.
We have a lot we could talk about.
I know exactly where I want to go next. So I have good news for you. We're going to be shooting some videos that will be available online together. I'm not leaving you to the wolves by yourself like some people thought. We will do this together, and we are in this with you. We are in this with you through your whole breastfeeding experience. The good news is that if you felt that you were alone or that you were worried if you couldn't afford a lactation consultant, we're not saying that you might not need one somewhere down the line. But if there's something that we could do to make your experience better as a breastfeeding mama, we are 100% in it with you. So first, I want to say thank you to Evenflo for giving us the opportunity to be here with you today. And make sure, if you have not already, I got to ask you a personal favor. Go over to their Facebook page and just thank them for allowing us to be here with you today, so that they know that you are equally as excited to have us as they are to do this for us. The next thing that I want to let you know is make sure you enter to win, because we want you to have this system. I have boob envy, and I wish that I had a system like this when I was breastfeeding. But we've had twin moms try this pump, and we have gotten very, very, very big rave reviews before we even continued a conversation with Evenflo. So thank you to Shari for really taking her years of experience and putting it to work for you. And of course, we want to a big thank you to Shari. And she also has a really great series that's online 24 hours a day that is classes that are dedicated to helping you get the most success on your breastfeeding journey. The good news is that when you buy an Evenflo pump, you automatically get that class.
Yeah.
Come on,
so
you gotta love that.
Any of the Evenflo Feeding pumps, you get both of my, any of the advanced doubles, you get both of my online classes, Simply Breastfeeding and Breast Pumps and Briefcases.
Yes.
They're free, included with the pump. If you don't have this pump, but you'd like to see the classes, I am running 50% off right now. It's WBW50 is the code. So you can go to my website.
World's Breastfeeding Week 50.
Yeah.
It would have took me all night. I don't know how I just got that.
So there's a 50% off at any of my classes right now.
Thank you.
It's one of the best things you could do for yourself. If you're already breast pumping, watch the pumping class. If you're not, if you're pregnant, watch the breast. Even if you're having twins, so much of what we talk about today, it applies.
Yes,
it all applies.
It really does.
And so go ahead and watch, or gift it to somebody, because if you love another mom who's needing it.
And listen, why not? Okay, so I'm just making sure that Julie's good. I think we are good. I want to thank you again. We love you guys, and make sure you follow all of Julie's links that she's going to send you. She'll link you over to Shari as well.
Yep.
Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you real soon.
Bye, everybody.
See you later, alligators. Bye.
Bye.